Industry Voice, The Cost of Virtue, How Germany's Nuclear Exit Undermined Its Climate Leadership. Germany celebrated the shutdown of its last nuclear reactors in April 2023 as a moral victory. The Atomausstieg was framed as a triumph of environmental responsibility, proof that a modern industrial nation could renounce dangerous technologies and lead the world toward a cleaner future. A new analysis suggests the opposite happened. A joint report from We Planet and the Anthropocene Institute quantifies the impact of Germany's decision to abandon nuclear power between 2011 and 2023. The numbers are startling. 800 terawatt-hours of zero-carbon electricity lost, 733 million tons of additional CO2, 19,200 premature deaths from air pollution, and 57 billion euros in carbon market costs. All the lost nuclear output was backfilled by coal, 98%, and gas. This is not a theoretical claim. After analyzing data at an hourly level, there was no hour in our data set in which the generation by high-carbon sources was lower than the generation lost from nuclear power. This means that essentially all electricity lost from nuclear was replaced by burning fossil fuels, even on the sunniest periods. This report is a reconstruction of what Germany actually burned, year by year, to keep the lights on after shutting down 17 fully functional nuclear reactors. The conclusion is blunt. Germany didn't phase out risk. It phased out one of the safest, cleanest energy sources on Earth and replaced it with the dirtiest and most lethal. A credibility crisis at COP30. The timing is especially uncomfortable when viewed alongside Germany's behavior at COP30 in Belém, where news broke that Berlin would slash its contribution to the Global Climate Finance Fund, in addition to the lowest performance of weather-dependent electricity sources in years that now make coal the primary electricity source in Germany. For countries in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific, many already facing extreme climate impacts, Germany's retreat felt like betrayal. Delegates openly questioned how Europe's largest economy could claim climate leadership abroad while unraveling it at home. The contradiction is difficult to ignore. Germany voluntarily shut down billions of euros worth of emissions-free power plants. It burned coal to replace them, adding emissions equal to an entire extra year of Germany's national output. Then it claimed it could not afford its promised contributions to climate adaptation in the global south. To summarize, one of the report authors noted, the real act of climate charity would have been not to emit an extra 733 million tons of CO2 in the first place. What Germany actually achieved. Much of the international conversation about German energy policy has treated the Energiewende as an inspirational model, proof that solar and wind alone can modernize a power system. But transitions have to be sequenced carefully. Germany did the steps in the wrong order. Wind and solar did grow rapidly, but because nuclear disappeared first, those renewables were forced to replace clean generation instead of replacing fossil generation. Coal stayed online to provide firm power, and gas dependence, particularly on Russia, deepened. The human toll is rarely mentioned in climate discussions, but it matters. The report, using WHO health factors, estimates the additional air pollution from coal caused roughly 5 times more deaths than the highest published estimates for Chernobyl. And the financial toll? At an ETS price of €78 per ton, the added CO2 carried a cost of 57 billion euros, money that could have paid for grid modernization, long-duration storage, or climate resilience in developing nations many times over. What Germany's peers did differently contrasts this with countries that responded to energy shocks by strengthening their clean firm capacity. Japan restarted reactors post-Fukushima and now relies less on imported gas. France, with its nuclear fleet intact, maintains some of the lowest carbon and lowest, most stable electricity prices in Europe. South Korea, Canada, and the UK are all expanding nuclear to complement renewables, not compete with them. Even Rwanda, one of the world's smallest and least wealthy countries, has expressed interest in advanced nuclear to secure energy independence. Germany, meanwhile, dismantled some of the most efficient reactors ever built, including Isar 2, while importing more coal. Ideology over arithmetic. The We Planet Anthropocene report explains how Germany arrived here, a unique cultural fusion of anti-nuclear romanticism and pro-coal labor politics that dates to the 1970s. The political compromise was simple: retire nuclear first, deal with fossil fuels later. That sequencing error is now visible in the data and in German household electricity bills, which are among Europe's highest. The story is not that renewables don't work. They do, spectacularly, where wind and solar resources are strong and where the grid can handle variability. The story is that a decarbonization strategy cannot remove clean, firm power before fossil fuels. Doing so forces renewables to shoulder the wrong burden. The moral gap. This is why Germany's retreat on climate finance lands so badly. You cannot demand climate mitigation abroad while making it harder at home. You cannot argue for global equity after taking actions with measurable global harm. You cannot claim we are in a climate emergency while shutting down terawatt-hours of low CO2 electricity generation. And you cannot preach climate realism while basing major energy decisions on cultural symbolism rather than system-level math. If climate credibility means anything, it requires consistency. Keep every clean electron until every dirty one is gone. A path forward. The case for nuclear in Germany is no longer ideological. It is empirical. A reliable grid needs firm, clean power. Renewables reach their highest value when paired with it. Consumers pay less when fossil plants are retired, not when cleaner plants are removed. The world doesn't need perfect energy sources. It needs complete portfolios. Nuclear for stability, renewables for growth, storage for flexibility designed to eliminate coal and gas, not each other. Germany's Atomausstieg now stands as a cautionary tale, a reminder that climate policy, grounded in aesthetics rather than arithmetic, can be the costliest kind of virtue signaling. If Berlin wants to reclaim leadership at future COPs, the math, not the mythology, will have to lead the way. Guido Núñez Mujica is Director of Data Science at the Anthropocene Institute. He is a climate activist and science communicator with 25 years of experience.